Heartwarming discovery: a poor maid exposes her billionaire boss's unexpected vulnerability life. Lily pushed the wooden cart along the polished marble floor, the squeak of the wheels echoing in the expansive silence of Ethan Hargrove's mansion. Each turn of the wheel propelled her further away from her cramped apartment, her single mother's weary smile urging her on, and the billions of the city's elite surrounding her made her heart race. This job was only a means to an end, a ticket for her dreams tucked away in the folds of a housekeeping uniform. Yet, she felt out of place here amidst the crystal chandeliers and expensive art. As she dusted the living room, the golden hues from the sunset streamed through large bay windows, illuminating the dust particles dancing in the air. It was breathtaking. And yet, despite the beauty, there was a loneliness etched into the walls. Ethan had transformed this mansion into a fortress of solitude. Each evening was spent in silence, with only her musings filling the vast space. One afternoon, while tidying up his office, she stumbled upon a hidden door behind a large bookshelf. Something compelled her to follow her curiosity. The door creaked open, revealing a hidden room brimming with childhood mementos, a forgotten time filled with dusty trophies and crumbled photographs. There, nestled among the remnants of a younger Ethan, were memories of laughter and play, nothing like the cold billionaire she'd come to know. That day changed her. Lily returned to the mansion with a sense of purpose. She no longer saw Ethan merely as a boss but as a man with scars beneath his polished exterior. They shared moments together, brief exchanges that turned into conversations about their lives, their childhood steeped in different worlds. Their laughter echoed in the corners of the mansion, but the specter of their disparities still loomed overhead. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. However, their blossoming friendship wasn't immune to complications. Lily's family depended on her income, and every moment spent with Ethan felt like a tiny rebellion against the loyalty she owed them. One evening, while sharing a bottle of wine, she felt a pull towards him, something deeper than friendship. But the burden of her duty weighed heavily on her heart, and the looming shadow of social class made her stomach churn. Everything came crashing down when a scandal erupted, threatening Ethan's carefully constructed empire. Whispers filled the halls, and Lily felt the noose of expectation tighten around her. Could she risk everything she had for someone everyone deemed unworthy? As she stared at their reflection in a nearby window, Ethan looked vulnerable and raw. The weight of their experiences hung heavy in the air. This was life at a crossroads, a moment where the world blurred between family loyalty and the pull of an unexpected connection. She stood there, torn and trembling, uncertain if she should open her heart or safeguard her family. Moments away from a revelation, she wondered what sacrifice truly meant. Would she abandon her dream for a chance to explore the depths of their shared humanity? The clock ticked on, and decisions loomed large, leaving her breathless at the threshold of uncertainty. The next few days dragged on like a slow-moving fog, each passing hour felt heavy with unspoken words and fleeting moments. Lily threw herself into her work, each dust cloth she used like a lifeline anchoring her back to reality. But even as she cleaned, her mind was filled with Ethan's laughter, a sound that danced like light on her heart. The scandal had gripped the mansion, tightening its grip around them. Ethan was increasingly distant, retreating into himself, and it left Lily feeling helpless. One evening, as the sun dipped low, casting long shadows in the hallways, she noticed Ethan standing alone by the grand piano, fingers hovering above the keys. He looked lost in thought. She mustered the courage to approach, feeling the flutter of hope mixed with fear in her chest. "Ethan?" Her voice was barely a whisper, fragile against the grandeur surrounding them. He looked up, surprise flickering in his eyes before it faded, replaced by a wall of indifference. I didn't hear you come in. Just finished cleaning the guest rooms, she replied, forcing a smile. Feels quieter than usual. It's been quiet around here for a while. He shifted, drumming his fingers on the piano. I guess silence is the only way I know how to protect myself. From what? The question slipped out before she could hold it back. She had a right to know, didn't she? As his eyes met hers, she saw a flicker of vulnerability, a crack in the armor he wore so diligently. From the world, he sighed. From betrayal, from everything. Dread filled the space between them. She wanted to reach out, to pull him from his retreat, but the invisible barrier of their circumstances held her back. You don't have to go through this alone, she said softly, her heart racing with the weight of her words. Ethan shook his head. You don't understand, Lily. You have a life outside these walls. I can't let you get tangled in my mess. But I want to help, she insisted, stepping closer. I know you're not just a billionaire, you're a person with feelings and struggles, just like anyone else. He hesitated, the tension between them thickening. The inner conflict in his gaze made her pulse quicken. Should she cross that line? Suddenly, he stumbled backward, knocking over a framed photo on the piano. It crashed to the floor, shattering the serene moment like glass. See? This is what I mean. I can't even keep my life in order. His voice filled the air, sharp and raw. Ethan, her heart ached at the sight of him, the pride of a billionaire crumbling. She knelt to pick up the photo, the image of a younger Ethan surrounded by friends, the sunshine bright on their happy faces. This is who you were before everything got so complicated. He knelt beside her, shoulders tense. What if I can't go back? What if his voice faltered, the bravado slipping away, revealing a longing buried underneath years of facade? What if you just need someone to remind you? She dared to touch his arm, the contact warming her palm against his cool skin. A flicker of hope ignited in his eyes, but he quickly masked it. And what about you? What if all this leads you to lose everything you've worked for? Your family needs you, Lily. But I need you, too, she murmured, the words hanging between them with the weight of truth. Her heart raced, the chasm of fear and desire widening. For a moment, they lingered in the silence, suspended in the gravity of their unspoken emotions. Then the moment shifted again, and she felt the pull of her duty drawing her back to the surface, the call of responsibility heaped like bricks on her shoulders. Ethan, she began, her mind racing with thoughts of family, loyalty, and sacrifice. But the looming pressure of the world outside complicated her feelings, and her words fell short. Before she could continue, the sharp ring of his phone shattered the moment. The sound sliced through the stillness, jarring them both. His expression shifted, then hardened. I have to take this. The distance returned as he turned away from her. She felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down, the bittersweet taste of connection, mixing with the fear of loss. As he spoke into the phone, she wondered if they'd ever find their way back to that fragile moment. The door to the mansion stood ominously behind her, reminding her of the life waiting outside, where her family depended on her. The battle of loyalty and longing raged within her. Would she risk everything for a man whose world was so different from hers? Torn between her duty and desire, she gripped the shattered photo tightly in her hands, its edges sharp and cutting. Perhaps it was time to reevaluate her path. As Ethan ended the call and looked back at her, an intensity surged in his gaze. Was it desperation or hope? The air crackled with energy, and she knew they were at another crossroads. What would she choose? And at what cost? The moment hung in the air, charged with unanswered questions, with emotions bubbling just below the surface. Lily felt her heart race, the weight of Ethan's gaze anchored her to the spot. She could sense the shift, the almost electric connection between them. It was exhilarating yet terrifying. What do you see when you look at me, Lily? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. There was a desperation there, like he was peeling back layers of himself he had long buried. She blinked, unsure of how to answer. "I see a man who's lost his way," she admitted, her own scars rising to meet his vulnerability. "But I also see a person who's worth fighting for. Someone who deserves happiness." Ethan's brow furrowed, and he looked away, lost in thought. "Happiness feels like a distant dream now," he murmured. "I thought I had it all figured out until everything fell apart." "Maybe you just need someone to help you find it again," she said, feeling bolder. This was a pivotal moment, and she couldn't let it slip away. We all stumble. Life throws things at us that we can't control, but it doesn't mean we have to face them alone. We can help each other. His eyes met hers with an intensity that made her pulse quicken. "What if I bring you down with me? Your life is set, you've worked so hard to build it. I wouldn't want that on my conscience. What if it's not just about falling? What if it's about lifting each other up?" Her voice quivered slightly, but she pressed on, confidence grounding her. The truth swelled in her chest, blazing a trail against her fears. She had spent too long navigating the walls of isolation in his world but realized now how much she wanted in. For a heartbeat, he seemed to consider it, the walls he built around his heart crumbling one brick at a time. "Do you really believe that?" "I do," she insisted, her gaze unwavering. "I believe in second chances. For both of us. Isn't that worth exploring?" With each word, the knot of fear in her stomach loosened, revealing a flicker of hope. He looked at her, surprise blending with curiosity. "You're brave," he said with a faint smile, a welcome relief that illuminated the shadows lurking in the corners of the grand room. "Braver than I've been in a long time." "Maybe that's what you need, someone to remind you what bravery looks like," she replied, her heart fluttering with anticipation. The connection was undeniable, like the world around them faded away until it was just the two of them. But their reverie was short-lived as the sound of footsteps echoed along the hallways. The moment was too fragile to survive for long, and Lily felt the chill of reality creeping back in. She glanced toward the door, the reminder of their responsibilities looming over them like an impending storm. She started, her voice trailing off. But, Ethan, his expression shifted, realization dawning on him as he took a step closer. "You have to decide what you want, Lily. It can't just be about me." "It's not just about you," she quickly replied, feeling a surge of urgency. "But I can't shake the feeling that our paths have crossed for a reason. The question is, will you let me be part of your journey?" Silence enveloped them, the weight of her words hanging in the air. Her future, her family, and the comforts of home danced precariously on a precipice. She held her breath, waiting for him to respond, the tension winding tighter in her chest. Finally, he took her hand, his grip warm and steady. "Maybe I want to. But what happens when the world finds out? Can we still be brave then?" She hesitated, her heart pounding. There was so much at stake, and yet she felt this undeniable urge within her. The stakes had never felt higher, and the choice looming before her was life-altering. Just then, a voice interrupted their moment, calling out from the other room. The spell was broken, and she felt the warmth of his hand slip away. "Lily. We need you in the kitchen." The call was sharp, breaking the atmosphere like a glass dropped on the floor. Lily turned back to Ethan, her heart racing with the unspoken words still swirling in her mind. I will think about what you said." He nodded slowly, an understanding passing between them even as the outside world pulled them apart. As she began to walk away, she glanced back at him one last time. His intense gaze bore into her, filled with a mix of hope and fear. How do you choose between love and loyalty? Could she dare to weave her life into his chaos, knowing the risks that lay ahead? The decision loomed like a shadow over her heart as she left him standing alone. And just as she reached for the kitchen door, she felt that familiar pull, a promise of something more waiting to be uncovered. What would she find when she turned back? Would her heart lead her to the answer, or would the fear of losing everything keep her rooted in the safety of what she already knew? The kitchen buzzed with activity as Lily stepped into the bright, bustling space. The clatter of pots and pans mixed with laughter and chatter from her family, grounding her in the familiar chaos of home. But as her heart raced from the moment she shared with Ethan, it felt as if she had entered two worlds at once, one warm, comforting, and predictable, the other thrilling yet filled with uncertainty. She forced a smile, grabbing a spatula and flipping a pancake, though her mind drifted back to Ethan. The way he looked at her like he was standing on the edge of a cliff, uncertain but yearning to jump. She couldn't shake the feeling that nothing would ever be the same again. The connection they shared felt stronger, louder than the cacophony around her. "Hey, Lily." "Earth to Lily." Her sister Jenna called out, snapping her fingers in front of Lily's face, bursting her bubble. "Oh, sorry." Lily chuckled, shaking her head slightly. "Just daydreaming. You've been doing a lot of that lately. Don't tell me it's that guy again?" Jenna raised an eyebrow, a teasing smile on her face. "No." "Well, maybe." Lily trailed off, her cheeks burning slightly. The weight of her unspoken feelings made her stomach twist. Jenna could always read her like a book, and she didn't want to spill secrets just yet. Not when everything was so unclear. "Lily." Their mom's voice broke in, cutting through the playful banter. "Focus. We need to set the table soon. You remember what your father said? He wants everything perfect for tonight." Lily nodded, but her mind shifted again to Ethan's words. What would it mean to step beyond the bounds of her comfort? In this whirlwind of familiar faces and expectations, her heart beat loudly at the thought of chasing after something unknown, something counter to everything she'd known her whole life. As she arranged the silverware, a small part of her played around with wild possibilities. What if she did dive into the chaos that was Ethan? What if loving someone so deeply meant confronting her fears? With her heart pounding in her ears, she slipped away from the kitchen momentarily, seeking a quiet space to think. The hallway was decorated with family photos, each capturing moments of joy, laughter, and love. Yet each smile in those frames felt like a reminder of what she had to lose. With every step, the tension of her choice wrapped around her like a shroud. Suddenly, her phone buzzed in her pocket, startling her. When she pulled it out, she saw a message from Ethan. "Can we talk later? Meet me at the park?" A wave of excitement washed over her, tinged with fear. He wanted to talk, to dive deeper into whatever this was that sparked between them. But it also came with questions, and uncertainty. "Lily." Jenna's voice broke through again, this time sharper. "I'm here." She called back, slipping the phone back into her pocket. She returned to the kitchen, putting on a brave face despite the whirlwind of thoughts spinning in her mind. As she helped carry out the food for dinner, her family gathered around the table, everyone's energy filling the cool evening air. They laughed, exchanged stories, and for that brief moment, everything felt right. But the serene facade couldn't mask her inner turmoil. From across the room, her mother caught her eye, a knowing smile etched across her face. "You okay, sweetie?" her mother asked softly. "Yeah, just a bit overwhelmed, I guess," Lily replied, forcing a smile. "Life can feel like that. Just remember, you've got family here, no matter what." Lily's heart swelled with affection for her family, yet Ethan lingered on the edges of her thoughts like a lingering scent, intoxicating and fresh. She glanced toward the window, her mind turning back to the park, to the hope of a conversation that could change everything. Would it bring clarity or deepen the chaos? And what would happen when she finally admitted the truth to herself, to him? The night pressed in around her, the air thick with unspoken questions. And as the laughter echoed and her family shared their wishes for her future, Lily knew one thing for certain: she couldn't keep dodging the decision much longer. That park awaited, and so did Ethan. With the flicker of candlelight dancing in her eyes, she pondered, when would she gather enough courage to leap into the unknown? Would tonight be the night she finally chose to face it? Could change in a heartbeat. The evening stretched before Lily like an expanse of uncharted territory. Dinner wrapped up with her family, the warmth of laughter still lingering in the air, but the shift in her heart drew her away. She helped clear the table but found herself constantly glancing at the clock. Each tick felt like a whisper pushing her toward the inevitable meeting. After the last plate was washed and dried, she crept out of the kitchen. Her parents were engrossed in conversation, and Jenna was busy on her phone. This was her moment. As she stepped outside, the cool night air wrapped around her like a comforting blanket. The street lamps flickered above, casting a golden glow that mirrored her own tumultuous emotions. She felt as if every step she took was a move away from safety and toward the thrill of the unknown. The park was just a few blocks away. As she walked, her mind raced with thoughts of Ethan. What would he say? Would he feel the same pull that had her tethered in a storm of feelings? Her heart drummed a frantic beat as she crossed the last street. When she entered the park, the moonlight cast soft shadows, and she spotted Ethan beneath an old oak tree. He leaned against the trunk, hands shoved deep into his pockets, his silhouette sharp against the silvery backdrop. The sight of him sent a rush of warmth through her. There was so much to say, to address, but there was also so much at stake. "Hey," she called softly, her voice trembling despite her best intentions. He turned, surprise flickered across his face before it melted into a smile that made her heart flip. "Hi, you came." "Of course I did. You said you wanted to talk." As she approached, the distance between them felt electric, crackling with possibility and tension. "I know things have been intense lately," Ethan began, rubbing the back of his neck, a gesture that signified both nervousness and vulnerability. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about what's happening between us." Lily swallowed hard. Those words, "what's happening between us," made her pulse race. "Me too," she admitted. "But it's scary. I mean, what if we're just imagining things?" Ethan took a step closer, his eyes searching hers. "That's the thing about feeling something real. It can be terrifying, but I think it's worth it. Don't you?" A rush of emotion flooded her, hope mixed with fear. She had spent so long building walls around her heart. Now, standing here, she felt them crumbling. I really do," she whispered, her voice barely breaking through the stillness. He let out a breath he seemed to be holding. "I've been scared too. I've spent so much time trying to keep things in control, but it's exhausting. I don't want to be scared anymore. I want to be honest about how I feel." Lily's heart pounded harder. Here they were, in the soft glow of the park, unraveling the very fabric of the lives they had built. "Then let us be honest." As the words left her lips, Ethan stepped forward, closing the distance further between them. "I want you, Lily. I want to explore this, whatever it is." Tension filled the air, a silent acknowledgement of how deeply they both craved this moment but also feared its implications. Just then, the wind picked up, rustling the leaves above them, and the world around fell away, leaving just the two of them in that intimate space. But what would come next? Would they embrace this leap together, or would the weight of reality pull them apart? As they stood there, eyes locked, the night held its breath, waiting for a decision that would alter everything. In the end, the question loomed large: would they find courage in the vulnerability? And as the stillness wrapped around them, Lily wondered, was this the moment they would finally step into the unknown together? The air pulsed with possibility as they stood inches apart, their breaths mingling under the gentle gaze of the moon. Lily felt her heart racing, caught in the waterfall of emotions cascading through her. The path ahead was uncertain, yet it shimmered with the allure of discovery. "Lily," Ethan began, his voice a soft rumble that made her stomach flutter. "I've never felt this way before. You make me want to be a better person." His words washed over her like silk, filling the spaces in her heart she didn't even know were empty. She wanted to respond, to pour out her own feelings, but her throat felt tight, trapped between fear and exhilaration. "I'm scared too," she finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if we ruin everything? What if it doesn't work out?" He frowned, frustration and determination mingling in his expression. "But what if it does? What if we miss out on something incredible just because we're afraid?" The challenge in his gaze pierced through her uncertainty. She thought of all the times she had held back her carefully crafted walls. Maybe this was the moment she needed to tear them down. "Okay," she said, the word tumbling out before she could second-guess it. "Let us explore this. Together. Let us see where it leads." A broad smile broke across Ethan's face, and it felt like the sun breaking through a long winter. He reached out, hesitating for just a moment before brushing his fingers against hers. The spark was immediate, a rush of warmth traveling through her hand, up her arm, igniting her very core. "I can't believe you just said that," he replied, eyes wide with excitement. This is huge for me. For us." The thrill in the air pulsed with a heartbeat that felt shared between them. As they stood close enough to feel warmth radiating from each other, reality faded into the background. The world felt brighter, filled with colors she hadn't noticed before, the deep green of leaves rustling softly, the silver sheen of the moon casting a magical veil over their memories yet to come. Suddenly, a loud crash disrupted the serene moment, pulling them back to the world around them. A few parkgoers had knocked over a trash can during an animated argument. Their laughter and shouts echoed through the still night, a stark contrast to the intimate connection they were building. Lily glanced away, her heart hammering in her chest, a reminder of how fragile this moment felt. "Maybe we should move?" she suggested, hesitant. Ethan, however, didn't let go of her hand. "No. Let us just ignore them." His resolve lit a fire inside her, igniting the courage she thought she lacked. "Right, let us focus on us," she said, gathering her strength. "I want to see where this goes. I want to know you." "Then let us dive in," Ethan said, determination creeping into his tone. They stepped even closer, their shared space pulsing with an energy that felt alive. Lily could hardly believe how easy it was to surrender to her feelings. "No more hesitations," she said finally, as clarity washed over her. Taking a deep breath, she looked into Ethan's eyes, finding in them a reflection of the same yearning, the same hope. But just as everything began to feel possible, a shiver of doubt snaked its way back into her mind. Would they be ready for what came next? Could stepping into the unknown really lead to something beautiful, or would it only bring heartache? In a world full of uncertainties, will we define our love by how fear or joy finds us? She thought, stolen glances across the darkness. And as they hovered at the edge of something new, that question hung in the air between them, laden with a weight that could either bind or free. Lily realized they stood at a precipice, ready to leap, but exactly how far would they fall? Lily took a step back, her heart racing. The momentary connection they had felt so powerful, yet the ground beneath her seemed shaky now. Did she really want to enter this uncharted territory with Ethan? Would it really be worth it? Ethan seemed to sense her retreat. "Hey, what's wrong?" he asked, his brow furrowing with concern. I just don't want to get hurt," she admitted, her voice trembling slightly. She looked away, focusing on the chaos a few feet ahead where laughter and arguments intermingled. "Trust me," he said, his voice firm yet gentle. "We won't let fear take the reins. Not tonight." His hand squeezed hers, grounding her amidst the whirlwind of chaos that lurked in the park. She blinked, realizing she didn't want to let go. Not now, not ever. With a deep breath, she met his gaze again. "Okay. Trust it is." His smile returned, infectious and bright. "Then let us let go of fear. Let us just let it unfold." She nodded, her stomach fluttering as they moved closer, their foreheads almost touching now. Slowly, she drew in a breath that felt lighter with each passing second. "So, what do we do now?" "Tell me about your dreams," he answered, his eyes igniting with curiosity. "What makes you tick? What do you really want in life?" It was an unexpected question, but one that stirred something deep within her. The dreams she often buried under worries now bubbled to the surface. "I want to travel, explore new places, meet different people. I want to see the world beyond this small town," she said, her voice growing stronger. "But I also want to feel connected, to create real connections with people." "That's beautiful," he replied, his gaze unwavering. "You deserve to see the world and to experience everything you crave." A warmth spread through her at his words. "And what about you, Ethan? What do you want?" He paused, a flicker of something tender passing over his face. "I've always been caught up in work, making deals and creating a name for myself. But lately, I've been realizing I want something more, something real. Like what we're starting now." Lily's heart swelled. "You mean that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Absolutely," he answered, sincerity deep in his tone. "I can't remember the last time I felt this alive. It's like I'm awakening to a part of myself I didn't know existed until you showed up." Each word wrapped around her, binding them closer together. They stood there, surrounded by the chatter and chaos that faded into the background. But just as the moment reached a peak of sweetness, her phone buzzed in her pocket, a notification that threatened to pull her back to reality. She hesitated, unsure whether to check it. "Do you think we should?" Ethan shook his head, mischief lighting his eyes. "Let it be. For now, it's just you and me. Let us not spoil it." His words sent a thrill down her spine. She smiled, the initial weight of her doubts lifting. There was something intoxicating about living in the now, forgetting the pressures outside of their bubble. But a small voice of fear nagged at her, whispering, what if this happiness didn't last? What if they only created memories that would eventually fade away? "Ethan, if things get complicated?" she began, her heart drooping slightly. "Complications only matter if we let them. We define this. Not the world outside us," he asserted confidently. His words echoed within her. She wanted to believe him. With a sudden burst of courage, she leaned in closer. "Then let us create something that lasts," she whispered. Just then, the loud argument from earlier erupted again, laughter mingling with shouts, drawing more attention amidst the darkness. Lily's heart sank slightly. "Maybe we should go," Ethan raised an eyebrow playfully, his grip on her tightening. "Or we could stand firm right here." "Firm, huh?" she teased, glancing at the commotion again. "Yeah, because here's the thing," Ethan replied, leaning in just a fraction closer, "whatever happens, I'm not leaving your side. Together, we can face anything." His promise ignited a fire within her that she hadn't felt in years. Suddenly, it was clear this leap wasn't just a jump into the unknown, it was a leap into all that could be. But just as she was ready to dive in fully, the realization of what laid ahead crashed through her like a wave. What if their connection led somewhere unexpected, to places they weren't prepared for? And as they stood on that precipice, hearts pounding in sync, Lily couldn't shake the growing question spinning in her mind: were they truly ready to weather the storm that love could bring? Lily took a deep breath and let it out slowly, trying to steady the whirlpool of thoughts flooding her mind. A part of her wanted to dive headfirst into the allure of the moment, but another part nagged at her with questions that kept her feet planted firmly on the ground. "Let us stay, then," she said finally, drawing strength from Ethan's unwavering gaze. "Let us face whatever this is together." He smiled, and in that smile, she found the flicker of reassurance she desperately needed. "Together," he echoed, a promise wrapped in a single word. The sound of laughter nearby drew their eyes back to the crowd, where a group of friends was arguing playfully over whose turn it was to choose a game. Their carefree nature tugged gently at Lily's heartstrings. She longed for that same joy, to let go of worries, if only for a moment. What if we join them? Ethan suggested, his eyes dancing with mischief. Or maybe challenge them to something. Lily laughed, warmth blooming in her chest. Like what? A dance-off? Exactly. You start with your best moves, and I'll follow up with my yet-to-be-discovered genius skills, he joked, dramatically cracking his knuckles. I believe that could be a sight, Lily teased back, her heart lightening. Okay, let's do it. She felt the tension begin to fade. Maybe this was exactly what she needed, a distraction from the intensity of their conversation. With a shared look of mischief, they both moved toward the bright lights and laughter, fueled by spontaneity and a little thrill. When they reached the edge of the circle, they were met with gleeful cheers and an eager push to the center. A couple of friends stood there, trying to entice the crowd into a new game, and now, they were drawn into the action. As the rhythmic beat filled the air, it seemed to shake off all lingering doubts. Show us what you got. A voice shouted, and almost instantly, Ethan grabbed Lily's hand, spinning her into the freestyling chaos. They danced, laughed, and leaned into each other. It felt electrifying to blend into the crowd. For the next few minutes, they twirled and spun, giddy as the laughter enveloped them. With every beat, Lily found herself peeling away her insecurities, layer by layer. She felt bold and free, and every glance she exchanged with Ethan solidified their connection, sparking something far deeper than just dance moves. Suddenly, Ethan pulled her closer, their foreheads almost brushing again. See? This is what it feels like to let go. Lily nodded, grinning widely. I think I'm starting to understand. It was that moment beneath the bright lights and pulsing music that she decided to embrace the now, imperfections and all. They both needed this slice of joy, this escape from reality, a reprieve from the fears that threatened to creep back in. Just as she was about to lose herself in the dance again, her phone buzzed in her pocket once more. This time, the urgency in it felt different. With a sinking feeling, she checked the screen and her heart dropped. It was a message from her mother, one that slipped free from the boundaries of their playful atmosphere. Lily, she began, voice softening. Can we talk? It's important. Ethan caught her expression, the shift in the air around them. What's wrong? She hesitated. In that moment, she could feel the impending gravity of her reality closing in. My mom, she wants to talk about home. Ethan's eyes softened, understanding morphing his playful demeanor. Do you need to go? She pressed her lips together, torn between the world she was creating with him and the responsibilities pulling her back home. I think I should, but I don't want this to end, she confessed, panic creeping into her voice. Hey, he said, his voice soothing, whatever happens, you don't have to do it alone. I'll be right here when you're ready to come back, okay? His words wrapped around her like a warm blanket, but uncertainty brewed deep in her. What would that call mean? Would it change everything? As she took a step back, lingering on the edge of uncertainty, Lily couldn't shake off the looming question stirring in her chest. What would this conversation with her mother bring back to the surface, connections she'd avoided or long-forgotten fears? And as the music faded into the background and her heart wrestled with that simple text, she pondered, was she truly ready to confront what lay beyond the dance? Lily stepped away, the vibrant energy of the crowd dimming in her ears as her focus narrowed to the text on her phone. Words that meant everything and yet stirred a wave of emotions she wasn't ready to face. She glanced back at Ethan, his playful smile now shaded by concern. She hesitated, fumbling with her phone. I don't know if I'm ready for this conversation. I just feel so free now. I get it, Ethan said, raising an eyebrow, his warm gaze piercing through her hesitation. But your mom is part of your story too. You can't just ignore that. Her heart sank. He was right, of course, but the thought of revisiting her life back home felt heavy. The laughter around her felt like a distant echo, drowned out by the memories she'd tucked away for so long. What if it changes everything? She whispered, the words escaping before she could catch them. Sometimes change is good. It can lead us to discover more about ourselves. He spoke with a quiet confidence, as if he understood the weight she carried. You don't have to dive into it all at once, you know? You can take it a step at a time. Lily knew that. But every thought of home made her feel small and terrified. She breathed in deeply, trying to summon the courage that had filled her during their dance. It was that surge of freedom she craved. How could she balance it with the raw edges of her reality? Will you come with me? She blurted out, vulnerability draping over her like a thin veil. To talk to my mom? Ethan looked taken aback for a second, then nodded slowly. If that's what you want. But remember, you don't have to face it all at once, just take it as it comes. Lily felt a swell of gratitude toward him. This unexpected support lit a small flame of hope. It was comforting to know she wouldn't be facing her past alone, that he wanted to be there for her, anchoring her. Okay. Let us do it. She said, a tremor of courage creeping into her resolve. But can we finish this song first? The beat pulsed in the air, coaxing laughter back into her soul. Ethan grinned widely, taking her hand again and pulling her back into the moment. They moved as though the world had melted away again, energy radiating between them like an unbreakable bond. But as the music faded, she caught sight of her phone lighting up again, another message blinking at her anxiously. Lily, it can't wait. Please. Her chest tightened. The sudden urgency made her heart race, a reminder that beneath the carefree layer glittered a storm of unresolved issues. In the midst of their shared joy, doubt crept back in. She had escaped to this vibrant world, but reality lurked, ready to pull her back. What if my mom is disappointed in me? Lily whispered, her voice cracking. Ethan moved closer, wrapping an arm around her shoulders protectively. You are more than your past mistakes, Lily. You've grown so much. Don't let fear dictate who you are now. She looked up at him, searching his eyes for the truth behind his words. He believed in her, even more than she believed in herself. For that moment, she felt a glimmer of courage unfold. Right now, I want to be in the moment, she said, taking a deep breath. Let us make it last just a little longer. With a shared smile, they stepped back into the vibrant throng, hearts beating in tandem as they danced under the lights that seemed to shine a little brighter with every move. But even as the night unfolded in laughter and music, a heavy weight lingered at the edges. What she would have to face after the dance. That question loomed, and Lily couldn't help but wonder, would the conversations she avoided lead her to find herself or pull her away from the life she was beginning to embrace? The laughter hung like a warm blanket around them as Lily and Ethan danced, losing themselves in each other amidst the joyful chaos of the park. She twirled, letting the music carry her, letting it wash away the fears that loomed over her like dark clouds threatening to pour. Every beat felt like a promise of tomorrow, pulsating with the possibility of new beginnings. But that sinking feeling in her stomach nagged at her, a reminder that escape wasn't a long-term solution to the tangled emotions waiting back home. As the last notes of the song faded, a chill of apprehension crept back in. She pulled back from Ethan, the brightness of the park dimming in her eyes. Let us go, she said firmly, half to him and half to herself, trying to muster the courage she needed. Now? Ethan's smile faltered, sensing the shift in her energy. Yeah. I can't put this off anymore. I need to face it. Ethan nodded, his features softening. Okay. Together then. They walked hand in hand back toward the parking lot, the night sky a canvas of stars glittering above them as if cheering her on. With each step, Lily felt her heart race. It was a mix of excitement and dread. Questions swirled in her mind. Would her mother accept the changes in her? Would they be able to reconnect after so much avoidance? At the car, they paused. Lily turned to Ethan. I'm nervous. What if she doesn't understand? Then we'll figure it out. That's what people do. They talk, even when it's hard. His words anchored her, reminding her of the strength she found in vulnerability. As they drove, the emotional distance of the park faded, replaced by the heavy reality of home approaching. The streets were familiar, yet each one felt like a bridge to the past she feared would swallow her whole. When they finally arrived, the house stood like a giant guardian, waiting. The lights were on, and the chatter from inside hummed like bees buzzing near a flower. Lily's heart pounded. "Ready?" Ethan asked, squeezing her hand gently. Not even a little, she laughed nervously, yet it felt freeing to say it out loud. "Then let's just take it one step at a time." He smiled, and with that, they stepped inside. "Lily. You're back." Her mother's voice rang through, a melody of relief and concern all rolled into one. The familiar warmth washed over her, but fear gnawed at her insides as she walked into the living room. "Hey, Mom." Her mother's gaze shifted from curiosity to something deeper, an awareness of all the unsaid words wrapping around them. "Can we talk for a minute?" Lily swallowed hard and nodded. "Yes. I need to talk." The kitchen felt like a sanctuary as they sat down. The space was cozy, filled with warm scents of night-baked cookies and the faint whisper of memories shared. But the air thickened with unsaid feelings. "What is going on, honey?" Her mother's gaze was piercing, yet soft. "It's complicated. Everything can be complicated, but we can talk about it," her mom assured, gently nudging her forward. "I've been thinking a lot about life, about my choices. And I've met someone silence hung between them, palpable and heavy." "Someone? You mean Ethan?" Her mother's brow knitted in concern. "Yes." Lily took a deep breath as she dove into an explanation of everything: the connection, the laughter, the joy Ethan brought into a life limited by duty and responsibility. Her mother's eyes softened, yet hesitation lingered. "But what about your future? The stability you've worked for? It doesn't have to be either or. I can still have my dreams and explore this part of me," Lily pleaded, pouring her heart out until the words flowed like water. "Ethan wants to support me, not replace what I've built." Her mother's expression shifted, layers of worry unraveling as understanding crept in. "I see the light in your eyes, Lily. But just remember, love isn't always easy. You will have to learn to balance both worlds." "I know, Mom. But I want to try. I'm tired of being scared of what might happen. I need to embrace possibilities," she confessed, tears threatening to spill. Her mother reached out, taking her hand. "You are stronger than I knew, and I'm your biggest supporter. Just promise me you won't forget where you came from." "I promise," Lily replied, relief flooding her as she seized the moment of connection. As she turned to leave the kitchen and grab Ethan, she felt like a weight had been lifted. No longer trapped by fears of the past, she walked with purpose. In the living room, Ethan stood, his eyes bright with hope. "How did it go?" "Better than I expected. I think she finally understands." Ethan smiled, a real, beautiful smile that lit up the room. "I knew you could do it. I couldn't have done it without you," she said, the words spilling out heavy with gratitude and admiration. "Let's keep going then." "One step at a time," he said, wrapping an arm around her shoulders as they stepped back into the world. The uncertainty didn't seem so daunting anymore. With hands intertwined and renewed courage, they faced the multicolored tapestry of possibilities stretching before them. It wouldn't be perfect, and there would be challenges, but together, they were ready to embrace the adventure of love, laughter, and the dreams that lay ahead. Nothing could stop them now. Together, they could weather whatever storms arose, and they could also create a beautiful path. As they stepped outside into the night, the stars twinkling above felt like a secret reminder: sometimes, the most beautiful seasons of life come after the most difficult battles. This was just the beginning, and live their truth, hand in hand, they dared to say yes to the journey ahead. So, what are you waiting for? This is your chance to leap, share this story with your friends, and let's celebrate what love can conquer. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss out on the next exclusive stories that will tug at your heartstrings. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show support for more relatable tales that weave the beauty of life. Comment below with your own reactions and feelings about this ending. And please, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together we can inspire love and courage in our communities. Don't wait not even one more second to spread positivity and connection. You need to subscribe now.